Saeth, how are you doing today?
Good, man. Good. I've been really busy today, but the times we get together like this when we got a break between the busy schedule, it's awesome to meet up and talk.
How's school going, by the way?
Busy. I was actually just working on it just now, and
Oh, really?
I looked at the time, and I was like rushing to get stuff done. I had to run an errand real quick. I had to go take a shower. I think I put food in the oven real quick.
Oh,
It's
wow.
busy.
Oh, wow.
It's busy. I'm just trying to get it done. You know, I've been 4 years at school. It's like, at first I loved it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if anyone doesn't know, I'm in my late 20s. But before that, I was in the Air Force, and then I did my tour. I got out and I went to school, and school was great at first. It really was. It was not that bad. You know, I think high school, we think to ourselves like, man, like, this is bull crap. You know, maybe it's just me, but I'm like, this is bull crap. I don't even want to be here. So I skipped out on doing homework. I didn't get very good grades. So, you know, I tried the college thing after school, and it wasn't great. It wasn't great, you know.
Wow.
So I decided to go to the Air Force, and when I finally got out and I knew I wanted to go to college, I was terrified at first, because I was like, man, what if I'm going to be like how I was in high school? You know? What if I don't care? What if I get bad grades? Maybe I'm not smart enough to go to college, but really, college is really not that bad. You know, it's, in a way, if you think about it, it's kind of like work. You know, you go to class, you listen to the instructor, you listen, or what, you know, at work, what your boss says, and then you get homework to take home, and then you just do the work.
Yeah.
And you turn it in.
Yeah, that's
It takes
exactly
some
right.
sort of, right, yeah. It takes some sort of confidence to get the work done, you know. But after 4 years, like, kind of like done. I just want to be done now.
I don't blame
But
you.
yeah,
I don't blame you.
yeah, it's the school's great and all, but you know, the friends I made at school, they moved on. You know, it's time for me to move on too.
I thought you graduated already. Did you not?
I got my bachelor's last year, and I'm in my master's program right now.
Oh, that's awesome,
So
man.
I went straight from my bachelor's, and I went straight to my master's.
Heck yeah, dude. Get it over with.
Yep. Get it. I'm in a fast track. I'm in an accelerated program. So I'm really excited to get it. I'm very eager to get it done.
Hey, man, I'm super proud to hear that, dude. That's pretty awesome. I mean, it's hard enough to get your associate's degree, let alone your master's. So keep that up, man. I'm really happy for you. I mean, heck, you got to use that military for some reason, right? Why not the college?
Hey, the military was good for something after all.
What'd you actually? What did you? What was your official rank when you got out?
Official rank. I was a staff sergeant.
Hmm.
I was a staff sergeant in the Air Force. That's a junior NCO grade. I'm pretty much a supervisor in civilian terms.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's a lot of responsibility, man. Especially for the military, you would think, anyway.
No, that's true. That's true. You know, I can get an airman in trouble if he didn't obey my commands. It's called disorderly. No, not disorderly conduct. I forgot what it was. I think it was Article 90. You disobey a non-commissioned officer's orders. So so the rank did come with some weight.
Did you ever actually have to do that?
No. We had good airmen.
I was gonna say I couldn't see you actually doing that. You know, me knowing you now, not the military version you, but you as you are now.
Oh yeah. I can get an airman. I've seen an airman getting in trouble for not getting a haircut after his supervisor told him 3 times to get a haircut. He got in trouble.
Wow, I mean that's like basic knowledge, though. You should know that.
Oh gosh, I think that guy was slow.
Oh man,
like how some people get out of basic training is surprising enough.
Oh really? Like what?
Yeah. I think basic training. I think people make it hard on themselves. They make it seem like it's harder than it actually is, but it really isn't. You know, basic training is
do what you're told.
Pretty much, but also learning time management, self-responsibility, passing your tests, passing your physical tests, It's really easy. It's really
Being
easy.
an adult, essentially.
That's right. Yeah, they teach you how to be an adult. Right. Right. I never learned how to be a better communicator or a better to have more self-confidence in myself. I never really learned that. What I learned for basic was time management and what I said earlier, self-responsibility, being responsible for your own actions. Putting on your uniform in the morning, waking up at your alarm clock, brushing your teeth, taking a shower, getting into your car, first buying a car so you can get to work because you can tell your supervisor like, hey, I'm having trouble, I need a car or anything, but really he might take you to a car dealership, but he's not going to buy the car for you.
No, yeah, so, I agree with that.
Yeah, pretty much learning how to be an adult. That's what basic training taught me.
Was there any time in your time in basic training where you were like, gosh, what did I get into?
Yeah, the second week there.
Oh, really? Yeah, what made that week so hard?
I got the flu.
Ah.
Yeah, I got the flu for the whole week. It was bad. Like one day, I was just so sick and tired, and I went to the bathroom stall and I cried a little bit.
No kidding.
I was like, this is stressful, and I'm still getting yelled at.
What were they still expecting you to do all the training, the physical training and everything?
Yeah.
Wow, that's rough. That's something that you normally wouldn't get. Typically, most people with the flu, they got to go in bed and, just stay there for a couple of days, just start feeling better. I couldn't imagine doing like push-ups and leg lifts and boot slaps and marching all while sick. Trying not to vomit. That's crazy. You made it through though.
That really sucked. Oh yeah. Hey, you mind if I leave for a minute? I gotta go look after my food. That's how busy I was today.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Be right back.
We are glad to have you back, Tim.
Oh, thank you. Whew.
Oh, by the way, I got some good news for you, by the way. If you didn't know, I finally officially got my PlayStation 5. It's on the way in the mail, but I finally got one.
How did you end up getting one?
After months of not sleeping, months of staying up until like 9 o'clock and getting only like 3 hours of sleep before work, I finally got one. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start with this. So originally I was following YouTubers, okay? AKA Scrubbins, AKA Blaze, which I gotta say I lean more towards the Blaze guy. He's always live streaming, trying to get a PlayStation 5. Really good guy.
Shout out.
So, originally, I actually got up really early and went to Myers. And I got there because they're only doing walk-ins because they don't deliver, right? So, I go to the Myers, and I get there like 30, 45 minutes early, okay? As soon as I drive in there, I see a line outside the door, which I've never seen a line. Okay, outside the door. I was like, what the heck is going on? And so I immediately... Yeah, exactly. So I immediately assumed, yes, they got PlayStations. And I'm hoping for at least a drop of like 10 with the hard drive, or not the hard drive, but the disc drive, and then maybe a couple digitals. I don't care what I get, as long as I get one, right? So I get up there in the line, and everybody's sitting there staring. I mean, I count them all. I'm like, all right, there's 10 people. It's possible for them to have 10, with the disc drive, and then maybe a couple of the digital. I don't care what I get. I just want one. So I'm sitting there and they all keep looking at me like I'm the stranger. And I'm like, what's going on? They go, they only have 10 in here, right? I was like, I did not know that. They're like, yeah, so you should probably just go home. I was like, all right then, I guess I'll go home. Because I knew some was up. And I even checked. They had like a security guard at the front of the door. And I talked to him a little bit and he was like, yeah, they only have 10. So you're pretty much out of luck. They're all here for a PlayStation. I was like, does that include digital and the disc drive? And he's like, yeah, altogether they got 5 and 5. So you're kind of out of luck. And I was like, well, dang. Because I woke up early, like way early. Well, I just got off work, came home, did some dishes, and then I left. And I was hoping to get it and come home before I had to take the kids to school, Well, I get home and I'm disappointed. I mean, this is like, what, the 8th time that this has happened to me? Not to mention all the times that I've been screwed over online, with Botmart and everything. But finally, I get a notification about 3 o'clock. The guy, Blaze, he sends out like a little alarm system, I guess you would say, and it kind of wakes you up. I woke up and he's like, "Oh, Walmart's about to drop." I was like, "Walmart?" And in the back of my mind, I'm like, I don't really care about Walmart. It's not my thing. You know, you can't even get one. But he sends out a link, apparently. Now, keep in mind, the drop is supposed to happen at 3, and I just woke up at 2:58. So I'm like freaking out, trying to get my stuff together. So I get on there, and I keep hearing everybody talk about a link that Blaze submitted. And apparently, it's like a link that it's essentially kind of like a bot, but what it does is it immediately takes you to buying the PlayStation 5, putting it into your cart, and checking out all in one click. Okay? So you click the link, and essentially it does all that. Now, granted, it's going to keep on coming up. Oh, you know, this isn't in stock. This isn't in stock. But it has a little refresh tab. And so you can just hit the refresh tab, and it does that whole process in a matter of a second. Instead of you having to click it, add it to cart, go to cart, check out, and then put in all your information. It does all of that with one click. Which,
oh wow,
yeah, it's a big difference, and that's essentially what I'm not sure what bots do, but I'm essentially thinking this is what bots do, and it's kind of not fair. But because of him doing this, I was able to. I missed the 3 o'clock wave because I didn't understand the link and I wasn't able to click on it before then. But apparently they had 3 or 4 waves. I believe one at 3. One at 3:10, one at 3:20, and I believe one at 3:30, which tells you they had a lot. But I mean, it would sell out in a second. As soon as it hit 3 o'clock, gone. 3:10, gone. 3:20, gone. But I was in the 3:10 wave, and I was able to click the link. And when I clicked it, you know, of course, it was, sorry, this item is sold out. And I was kind of, you know, stressed out, but he kept saying, keep hitting refresh, keep hitting refresh. You know, the system's not able to process it that fast. So I kept hitting refresh. Boom, it came up in cart. And I was like, oh my gosh, check out. And it knocks you out of your account, you know, like your email and all your information and stuff that you would want. You know, like your payment, it knocks you out of it purposely to, you know, kind of like knock back the people that can't put the information in quick. Well, my phone, because I was doing it on my phone, has it saved on there. Well, I thought so anyway. So I go to hit the username, right? And it should just pop up and I just click it, right? Well, what comes up but my fiance's username and her stuff. And I'm like, what? Why is this saved in my phone? And I just remembered she just got paid. So I said, I don't care. I don't have time to waste. So I just immediately clicked on it, go straight to it, and check out. Okay? And it sends me a confirmation. Hey, it's been shipped and blah, 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 blah. You know, you got it. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes. And she was like, what's going on? I was like, check your email. Check your email. Did you get a confirmation email? She was like, what? You spent this much money on a game system? I was like, yeah. She was like, why did it go to my email? I was like, I had to use your account. And she went, what? I was like, I'm going to the bank now to go get her money that I owed her. And that's what I did. I went and got the money out, but I was like, I can't miss out on this. And then later that night, all the way to yesterday, I kept hearing they were going to cancel some of the Walmart orders because either for one reason it didn't register because some people did it exactly at the same time. So one system for 10 people just doesn't work. Vice versa, some cards, they see that account for like $500 or something and it's like, whoa, you don't spend that much at Walmart that often. We're going to put a hold on it. And if it puts a hold on it, Walmart will just cancel it and just sell it off to somebody else that wants it, which kind of sucks, but that's what they do. So it is crazy. And I was honestly freaking out. And, you know, I kept bothering her yesterday, the day before, today when I woke up. I was like, check your email. They didn't send a cancellation, right? She was like, no, they didn't. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make you mad. I need to know this because I've spent 4 months looking for this thing. But supposedly I'm getting it. It should be to me by the 24th. Which is a good time because a lot of people I heard, it's not getting to them until like March something, like the middle of March, which seems like a long time. But they said as long as they haven't sent you a cancel email by today, this morning, then you should be good. So I think I'm good. Thank goodness. Should get to me. I'm super relieved. The hunt is finally over. I can finally sleep.
First off, congratulations.
Thank you.
Second off, How many times did I say crazy? That's crazy.
It is crazy.
I'm not getting a PS5 until like way later, right? Because like
Mhm.
right now I couldn't care because I'm just so busy, and plus I'm hard going on World of Warcraft right now because Shadowlands is awesome. But holy mackerel, you had to go to the lengths that you had to go to get a PS5, and there's so many people doing the same thing that you're doing.
Yes.
That is just wow. I can't remember the PS4 was like this because I didn't get a PS4 till late either. Do you remember the PS4 times and if it was just
Yes.
as
It
crazy?
was like this, but it was not as crazy. See, with the PS4 times, we didn't have all these scalpers. We didn't have all these people that use bots like they do. Not only that, they were
Okay.
able to manufacture the PlayStation 4. They had a little bit more coming out, more than the PlayStation 5. But also, you had that problem with COVID going on where they don't want anybody coming into the stores. Most retailers aren't allowed to sell them in the store because they're afraid of like the crazy amount of people coming in and checking. So right now, I think Sony even threatened all retailers, if you put them in the store, we will stop sending you PlayStation 5s for that very reason, essentially. But the reason Myers is allowed to do it is because they don't have shipping. You see what I mean? So that's the difference. They don't ship anywhere unless you're in their district, which I think you have to be within a 10-mile radius, which, come on, it's not going to happen. But yeah. So I got lucky with Walmart.
I have another question for you because I've always been a little bit curious about this. What kind of games are you trying to play on the PS5?
Well, I'll tell you this. There's not many out right now, okay? There aren't. They're like Demon Souls, I don't think I can mentally handle a game that hard. I just don't think I can do it. I do want to play Spider-Man. I missed out on Spider-Man beforehand, the new one that came out by Insomniac Game, and I missed out on it for reasons. But now they're going to have that plus the Miles Morales.
Is that the one with Miles Morales? Exactly. Okay.
Yeah, they're going to have that one and the Miles Morales together where you can buy them both. So I can kind of knock out two birds with one stone. Yeah! Oh, it's going to be amazing. Yeah, it's going to be great. So I can't wait to play that. Now, on the top of my to-do list is I'm waiting for a new Ratchet Clank. I know they've already got it completed, but I know they want to hold off on dropping any new games until they feel like most of the consumers have a PlayStation 5. So I'm hoping March. I'm hearing that they're hoping to drop a lot of these games in March.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you're talking about something that I've been looking at as well because the March is right before the second quarter, and I hear a lot of games are supposed to come out of the second quarter. And it's not a Sony game, but there is Breath of the Wild 2. We're supposed to hear some news on that.
That should be fun.
As well. But going back to Sony real quick, I've been keenly interested in the God of War Ragnarok game that is supposed to come out this year.
Yes.
Did you hear anything about like that going to be, released at the second quarter, or we're going to hear some news? And I guess when I say release, I guess that I release some news because a lot of companies do that when they do some advertising and marketing.
Yeah.
They actually send. I actually have some knowledge on this, so we can talk about this a little bit. So when companies want to bring about news, they start with press releases and they go to different media that covers the, in this particular case, the gaming industry. So they'll send press releases early, very early. And maybe some media outlets have these press releases from these companies already. And so what is God of War? They're made by Santa Monica Studios, right?
Right.
So Santa Monica will send them a press release. They probably have the press release already. And on top of it, it will probably say to not be released until, March 4th, for example. Let's just say March 4th or April 4th, if they want to. And they'll say like, hey, this is what this game is about. This game will have this, that, and that. Please release the story on this date.
Interesting.
And I think, I don't know if you've heard anything about new games coming out from Sony. What do you know?
Well, to touch on the God of War first, I feel like it's going to drop in March. If we know anything about God of War games, typically they drop in March. Well, February to March. It always gets pushed back to March. So I know for a fact that they finished the game. They already started the game after they finished the last one they came out with, and supposedly
they started. You mean? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But so what you mean is they started on the next God of War when they were marketing the game, like when the God of War 4 came out.
Yes, essentially God of War 4 was actually supposed to be longer than what it really was. I heard they decided to end it where they did so they could continue on with the story. So it's like they never stopped making the game. So it makes sense to why it wants to drop so early. And that's why I kind of think that it's going to come out in March, because they normally drop God of War in March. So around that time, you haven't heard anything. You just know that they released the special edition God of War update for the PlayStation 5. So if you want to buy it, it's got better graphics. It's in the actual 4K resolution and everything.
Ooh. Yeah. For the PS4, that game looked awesome.
Oh, it was great. It was amazing. Did you play it? Did you get your hands on it?
Oh yeah, I bought it the day it came out. I thought it was amazing, and you brought up the point where they were going to make it longer, but they stopped where they did, and I thought that was better for the story. I don't want to spoil the game for anybody here, if they haven't played it, but the story, and where they decided to, like, we're just going to focus on the father and son. That's not a spoiler, but the game is about the father and the son, and making the game about them, I think, gives them I think for Ragnarok gives them permission to go where they would want to go in the story. I don't know where that direction is. I don't know if they want to continue the father and son back and forth. I think they probably will, but I think because we care, with any story we want to care about the characters no matter what. And I think that's important.
Agreed.
So what God of War 4 did was perfect for the characters, and it made us care a lot about them. And for those who didn't play God of War 4, the one that came out in 2018, you are going to have quite an experience. You're going to have a very emotional experience, as well as a great playing game. And the story, I harp on it a lot, but it just makes sense.
Agreed.
So I know you mentioned Demon Souls, and I heard something interesting from Kevin Jordan. Do you know who Kevin Jordan is, Bronze?
I do not. Saeth.
Okay, not a lot of people do. Kevin Jordan is one of the OG World of Warcraft developers. He is the guy. He's one of 3 people who mainly orchestrated the game. He was one of the head designers.
Okay.
Of the original World of Warcraft, vanilla World of Warcraft that came out in 2004.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He worked there till 2009. I remember looking at a podcast of him, and he said that games like Demon Souls and Dark Souls, I should say, because he was mainly talking about Dark Souls, but any competent person can beat Dark Souls. And it just made me think a lot, like, we're competent gamers, right? Like, me and you, we're very competent gamers. I bet you can get Demon Souls, and I think you can beat it, man.
I think as long as I actually focus and dedicate the time for it, and nobody bothers me, I think I can get that game done, eventually.
I thought that stuck with me, for real, because I never played a Dark Souls game. And I was thinking about like getting that game and probably like playing it for a run through in front of an audience. We'll see how that goes.
Hey, that sounds like fun.
I was thinking about that. I think Dark Souls. He said it best. Dark Souls came out at a time where games were press A to win, and it was rough. It was rough, and I think some Dark Souls fans can agree. Like, once when you beat that game and you can brag about it to other people, and other people who don't play the game or they can't beat the game, you just tell them like, "Man, get good, man. Just get good."
Yeah, it takes practice. It really does. A lot of people want to go at a game and just expect to do great, like win at it, like it's a hack and slash. And a lot of these games now, I mean, that's not the point of the game. You got to learn. It's like real life.
Yep. Yeah.
Learn from your mistakes, and that's how you get better.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah, I think I agree with that also. Now you talked about Ratchet and Clank. No, I don't think I played a game from the Ratchet and Clank series. What is it like? What is that game?
It's amazing. Okay, so essentially you're this. You start off as a character. You kind of look like a bunny kind of character, a bunny slash ferret type of character. You're an alien essentially, and now the whole universe is open to you. Think of like Star Trek in a sense, where you can go from planet to planet and there's different creatures and species. It's almost like Star Wars even. Mix that in there. But you're pretty much this character. You don't really know too much about your character. You just know that you're the only one that you know of your species. That's all we know. Later on you find out that your actual species name is Lombax, which apparently are like Guardians of the Galaxy, essentially. Like they're like the top Guardians of the Galaxy. It's kind of funny. But the whole time, you're always pressed with some kind of conflict with, of course, some bad guy trying to take over the universe, essentially, with some evil plan. And it just so happens that you're kind of like in his way, and you end up having to fight him. You also get a companion named Clank. He's like a little bitty robot that has these little clever, witty jokes, and it's a really fun game. You get a lot of options. Like you get a whole bunch of different weapons. You get to upgrade. Every time you upgrade a weapon, it actually changes what the weapon does and how it looks. For instance, I had like these ninja stars in one of the games. Okay, and once you kill so many enemies, you get experience for it. Well, I mean, before you knew it, the next upgrade it turned into 2. The next upgrade, they got bigger, and when you threw them, they would come back to you, and you could keep throwing them at the bad guys. You upgrade it again, it would hit the enemy, bust into a whole bunch, and then just keep on going back and forth and hitting the enemy until they disappeared, doing massive damage. Next upgrade, got a little bigger, they turn purple, and now they're poisonous on top of doing everything they do. You see what I mean? And that was with every single weapon. So it kind of gave you something to strive for. Now, I mean, after so many games later, the story kind of went away from what it was, I guess you would say. I think they had a couple where they were just like gladiator games where, this whole story focused about you're trapped being a gladiator and you have like time missions and stuff like that, which I'm not a fan of that. I'm more of an explorer. Let me go to different planets, fight different monsters, upgrade my weapons. That's what I like to do. Now, the last game they made was actually a remake of the first game, which is actually a remake of the movie, because they had a movie come out, which was pretty good.
Oh my.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was pretty good. It was the movie was pretty on par with the first game, and what they did was they just took the movie and then recreated the game, which was essentially the first game, I guess you would say. So it was just like an updated version of the first game, which I had a lot of fun with. It was great to replay it and everything. But yeah, this new one's supposed to actually have a new storyline. There's a girl version of a Lombax that randomly gets entered into this. I don't know if they're trying to go away from Ratchet and this is the new character. I don't know if they're trying to end the series altogether. I don't know if they're trying to open up the doorway to, how what they did with Spyro back in the day, where magically Spyro had a daughter now. And she took over the franchise for a little bit. I don't know if they're trying to lead you down a path to understand where another Lombax comes, because maybe they're trying to go away from the Ratchet franchise and go to a new character. I'm thinking that, but I'm not sure. But essentially, we're going to figure out what's going to happen. I think you get to actually play with the female character too, which I'm kind of excited with. I want to see if she's any different. I want to see what kind of weapon she has, if she's like him, because he uses his main weapon of choice is a big old giant wrench, which is kind of funny when you think about it. But I wonder if she has like the same kind of thing. But I'm really excited for it. I heard that they have it done. It's made by Insomniac Games, which made the Spider-Man the new Spider-Man. They're the ones they actually started the Ratchet and Clank series, and I've been a big fan since the first one on the PlayStation 2. I've played them all. I love that game. Hopefully,
nice.
Hopefully when it drops, it's good. It's what it's supposed to be. I know. The only thing I'm afraid of is they spent so much time on the Spider-Man game. I'm kind of afraid that they're gonna it's gonna be kind of like a rush game, because I didn't hear anything about the game until July. So hopefully it's not a rush game. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully they had a side team working on it from the beginning. So it should be pretty good.
Okay, great.
You talked about World of Warcraft earlier, right? About the creator or whatever. So did he have any spin on, was it Demon Souls? Did he put any of the World of Warcraft stuff that he already knew into Demon Souls?
I don't know for sure.
Okay.
He never talked about it in his podcast.
Okay, I was just curious to know if he added anything to it. It's kind of weird that he went from World of Warcraft to that franchise.
You know what it's what he talked about with Demon Souls or Dark Souls from the podcast was that, World of Warcraft, it was supposed to be, a game for everybody, or for the casual, for the PvPer, for the guys who wanted to create a guild so they can go into the hardest dungeons, like Blackwing Lair, Molten Core, Encourage, Nax Ramas.
Oh yeah,
those raiders could go in there and they could beat the game. And then, he also made the game for people who wanted to take it easy. He made the game for people who wanted to farm and just make gold in the game, and then gamble it all away. And then, but he made it so like it wasn't too easy. He never wanted the game to be somewhere where a guy can go in and just get free loot.
I definitely agree with that.
I never played. I didn't start my World of Warcraft career, in vanilla. I started in TBC, but from vanilla, and how when World of Warcraft Classic came out, in the videos I would watch, Molten Core, I think you only get 3 items for a 40-man group.
Yep.
Now that's crazy. That's hectic.
It is.
The loot's going to be distributed it's so weird, right? And there's going to be drama.
Oh yeah, always.
But even to beat Ragnarok in Molten Core, that 40-man group has to be somewhat competent in their ability. That the mage has to be able to press a frostbolt, right? And then the warrior has to do a shield block. There has to be some competence in the game, and the Holy Paladin has to heal, right? So so he never wanted to make a game where it was so easy or anything, and when he got the feedback back in the day, that would go to the community manager online that said hey, players are complaining that the game is too hard, we can't beat this boss, and he would say well, get good.
Hey, it's true. I mean, that's all you gotta do is get better. That's the point of the game. If it was too easy, there would be no fun in it.
Oh yeah, exactly. I'm currently PvPing right now. I'm raiding with my guild right now. I'm doing some mythic dungeons, but I'm also PvPing. I'm PvPing more than I've ever PvP'd since Cataclysm. So because I really love it, and as a red paladin, I do a lot of burst damage.
Right.
And I'm doing RPGs, and I was doing fairly well. I got over 1,600 last week, and I got in this week thinking gotta go. Hopefully I get a good group. And I'm pugging by the way. Pugging sucks. Right?
Yeah,
you get what you can. You get the group what you can.
Right.
Yesterday I lost 6 in a row. I lost 6 in a row.
That hurt.
And I'll give the last 4 rounds this. We were very close. We were very, very close.
Did anybody call out anybody in the group?
No, there wasn't a call outs or anything.
Normally there is whenever I'm in them. There's always a call out you guys suck.
I I think at the higher rated, you know, if you do your job, if you're all attacking the same guy that you're supposed to, that the main caller is saying, if you're following his orders, you're not going to get called out mainly.
That's true.
And that's what I will give the last 4 rounds that I lost in, is that we were so close. We just I think it could have been alluded to damage. I think it could have been more callouts. The first game we lost, I think it was because we had too many callouts. Like, too many people were saying, like, get on this guy, get on that guy, get on this guy, get on that guy. But all of it summarizes to this point, you know, like you can't just you can't just get the rating that you want. You have to earn it.
Right.
Like, even if you're in a group like I was, where the first game I was in, like, it was really, really bad. And the last 4 games were good, but we didn't win. It was, that close. It was like 50 points off, right? 50 points.
That's not bad. Oh, that had to hurt.
Yeah, it was bad. It was definitely bad. But you have to earn it.
Right.
Now it's like, oh man, like, I lost all these points. Well, it's time to get back to it. You can't be afraid of that stuff. Because if I have one bad night, where 4 games I was like really close, my team was really close, then I know we can get it. I know I can find a group where we can find a game and win 6 in a row one night. Like,
those are the good ones.
And that just harps on what Kevin Jordan was saying. Like, you got to earn this stuff.
It makes you appreciate it more too.
Yeah, exactly. Remember the Battlefront 2 stuff? I don't know if you caught up with the Star Wars Battlefront 2 by EA.
Yes.
It was just so bad with how they implemented their crystal system, where they're like, hey, if you want, these cards or whatever, these special abilities, if you want the epic versions, you just have to pay this amount.
Gosh,
and then you'll
EA.
get all these crystals, and you could just pay it.
It's ridiculous. Pay to win.
I think a lot of the community don't like people. They don't like that. I don't know anyone who really likes, to pay to win.
Well, it's not. It doesn't feel good. I've done it before, where I've actually paid for something, and I thought I would feel good about it. Like, yeah, I've got this. Nah, I really didn't. I didn't get that same appreciation for it like I would if I would have earned it. I don't know. It wasn't as good to me, and I don't understand where anybody feels any kind of like achievement or the feeling of, yes, I did that, from just buying something.
You know what? I will walk back what I just said. I think people want to play a story mode, so you just hit story mode, and then you hit enemies to get them down, so you can get through the story. I will say that.
Yeah, but, that's true. That's true.
I think if people, I personally, like, I wanted experience, right? It just be something where you would achieve in game just feels so much better when something is an obstacle, but then you get it down in the game. Like, that just feels more better.
I agree. So, on that note, you've played all the expansions, right? You've played Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King, Cataclysm, Mists of Pandaria, right. Warlords of Draenor, Legion, Battle of Azeroth.
Yeah, I played every expansion of World of Warcraft except for vanilla.
Okay. Yeah, well, which I'll tell you this. I don't feel like vanilla WoW really changed when it went to Burning Crusade, per se, because whenever you played vanilla WoW, it was still the same game. It just changed when you actually went into the Outlands of Burning Crusade. So I will say, if you ever played anything in the original WoW, like when you started your character before you got to level 60 and went to the Outlands, you played vanilla WoW, technically, in my opinion. It was harder back then. I don't know if you remember it, but what was it, Wailing Caverns, one of the first dungeons that you ever play as a newbie? I remember walking into that first cave, and all of those like dinosaurs and weird sludge monsters and everything, just to get to the portal to go to the dungeon, were elite. And a lot of people don't remember that. Just to get into the dungeon, you had to fight elite monsters. And that was a lot of fun to me. You know, I used to love it. I love the hassle of, you know, grinding and going through it and everything like that. Now, granted, I couldn't grind and not get anywhere. I have to actually see some kind of like break to where I'm actually advancing and getting better. But yeah, what it used to be on vanilla WoW is essentially what it was when I went to Burning Crusade. And honestly, I didn't really see a change until, I guess, Cataclysm came into place, because Cataclysm literally changed the landscape of vanilla WoW. It's the thing that changed everything. And I don't know if it technically made it easier. It did change the game. That was back in 2010. That was actually the last game I played before getting back into Battle of Azeroth. That was, you know, I kind of left out the Mist of Pandera and Warlord. I've heard a lot of big things about Legion. But yeah, Cataclysm to me, I felt like that was the beginning of making things a little bit easier. Because I remember Wrath of the Lich King, and you and me were going through that like crazy back in the day. And that was the game you dominated in, my personal opinion, as a paladin. That was yeah. That was, I was gonna say, that was like Burning Crusades was the true wow factor to me, and I'm sure it was to you as well, because, you know, I love like all of the landscapes out there, beautiful, really cool, interesting. But like when we went to Wrath of the Lich King, it seemed like you dominated in that one over me for sure.
Oh yeah, you know, I don't like to toot my own horn. I'm not a braggart. I don't like that kind of stuff. But but it was. But anyway, I did love Wrath. You know, it was probably my favorite expansion because it's just one that I shined in.
You did.
I learned a lot how to play the game from. But I am fascinated by Burning Crusade, and it's one where, you know, I only got to play like a year of it. But I feel like some months of it, when I was leveling from 1 to 60, was like I was in, you know, classic or vanilla WoW at the time.
It was. You know? It was really.
So,
yeah. It was a little bit different back in the day.
And I don't feel like I got the whole TBC experience, because when I finally hit 70, I think like what Sunwell Plateau was there. It was still live. Sunwell was still live, and I heard all I heard was like rumors of Sunwell, like, oh man, it's hard, it's this, and I never got. Anyway, I just feel like I missed out on the Burning Crusade experience.
Yeah, the Burning Crusade experience was amazing to me anyway.
Yeah, and I hear it's everyone's favorite expansion. You know, if you hear from Asmongold, like he loved TBC, like he just loved TBC. If I'm correct, I think he said that was his favorite expansion was TBC.
Hey, you know, that's
I hear from other people, like
that's,
TBC is just great.
You know how everybody has that one area in a game that they like to go back and just like look at to reminisce over good memories and stuff. I catch myself always going back there and just going through all the different landscapes and just thinking, wow, I remember this, I remember that. Oh my gosh, my old guild, I remember that when we did that. Oh my goodness, just so many good memories.
And that's and that's why I'm really thinking about going back to classic TBC. Now it hasn't been announced yet, but it's widely rumored when BlizzCon comes out that they're going to announce.
No way. No. Now let me ask you this: is that going to be its own separate game, or is that going to be like an expansion for vanilla WoW?
Very, very good question. Yeah, that is unknown, and I'm like, I don't think anyone really knows yet. But I really think what they're going to do is they're going to keep some servers classic WoW.
Yeah.
So people get that. So people still have that nostalgia and stuff like that. Because like if classic just goes to TBC, it's just going to feel like I feel like it's not going to be awesome for the people who like really enjoyed classic WoW.
I agree.
And just went through the whole you know experience of like leveling to 60. Getting into Molten Core, advancing to Blackwing Lair, advancing to Ankh-Garage, and then advancing to Naxxramas and getting Kel'Thuzad down. Like that's
so many good memories. Like every single thing.
I think that they're going to make new servers and they're going to be TBC. I think so. I
can see that.
New servers that are for TBC.
I can see it.
I'm really excited. You know, so I can start a Blood Elf again.
Oh man!
Start the journey to 70 again. But really, I'm excited.
So you are thinking about doing it, because I've been, you know me since I started. Yeah, when I came back to Battle of Azeroth, which, just gotta say, I like the new little side races. Not a big fan of the story. It's kind of but that was just me on the Battle of Azeroth. It was okay. But anyway, I've been sitting there kind of teeter-tottering. Do I want to go to Vanilla WoW? What do I want to do? Now, the Burning Crusade, if that's its own individual game, and you don't have to start off with Vanilla WoW to go back to that, I can see me going into it. Now, me personally, I kind of feel like they're just going to make it an expansion, because, like I said, I feel like Burning Crusade didn't really affect, Vanilla WoW, because it was just a portal to the Outlands. They had their own separate little land. It didn't really affect the outcome of the game, you know what I mean, of the original Vanilla WoW. But I have been teeter-tottering, going back and forth, because the community that's there, they're there for you. They talk. You have a good, fun time. That's what I miss. I miss being able to walk everywhere. I miss going into the Outlands, to the Crossroads, and just seeing the general chat going crazy. Randomly seeing people, the Alliance attacking the Horde. You know what I mean? I miss that. I miss that experience. And, since I've been back,
I understand that, like, it's gone, right? The community aspect of WoW it's still there, right? Like, people love WoW,
right?
But the communication, like, from people, like, that's gone, right?
Yes.
You used to be able to like call upon some people, like, hey, like, I need your help. I need to beat this boss in PvC. Like, I can't do it by myself. And then you two get together, and then you beat it together, and then you made a new friend. Right.
Yep.
But in retail WoW right now, you can solo a lot of stuff. Like, I get on my Frost Mage, like, I can AoE like level 60 like mobs, like, easy.
Wow.
Like, I don't need any help. I don't need to sit down and drink, because, like, I can just Ice Barrier or, like, blink away,
right,
slow them, and then Frost Nova. Like, it's easy. Like, that part is gone. But like you said, when you start a Tauren, right, in the Tauren starting zone, and then you level to 10, and then you go to the Barons, and then you see the Barons chat, like, going crazy, like, hey, someone get all this stuff from me. Hey, how is Mankirk's wife? Is she okay?
Yep.
Like, like, there's that community is still there, right?
Yep.
And like, I want to start classic TBC for that as well, because there is a community for that. That's the fun that we love about the game, that we miss about the game.
Yes.
And,
yes.
For me, it's not a complete departure from retail, because I love have a guild, and I'm committed to the guild.
Right.
So it's not a complete departure, but I love to have something. I do miss TBC.
Same here.
Some of the things that we did when I had as a paladin, the talent trees, the quests, because a lot of the quests were different back in the day. Some of the regions you would get, some of the items you had to procure, just to raid and stuff like that. I miss it, and I didn't start playing Classic WoW because I didn't start my journey in Classic WoW back in the day. I didn't start in that,
right? And
it's not a harp on Classic. It's just I don't think I would have fun in Classic because I never started my journey in it. But TNC, right. I'm excited for those things. So what you just said is true. Like the community aspect, it's almost gone in retail WoW because you can just solo everything, and then you got Group Finder.
Yep.
Like you can just find a group. You don't need to go in general or trade chat and be like, hey, I'm looking for 2 DPS, 1 melee, 1 ranged. With whisper me for this dungeon. You don't do that anymore. You just go to Group Finder.
Well, not to mention like skills and sub stuff like that. Like the auction house itself. I mean, you don't even really use it. I mean, you don't buy anything from there. Now, if you're trying to find like a mount or some glyphs or something like that, sure. But I mean, I don't ever find myself going there and trying to find items, weapons, nothing like that. Like you used to. I remember going there all the time and trying to see if there was a better weapon that I could get for my character. Just like blacksmiths, they could make some really good armor and stuff, for like the basic player to get.
Mhm.
And it was worth going to the auction house and trying to find it. It was worth being a blacksmith and making that kind of gear. Now, I mean, you level so quick, you can just go into a dungeon, do the group finder and get your gear, no problem. So a lot of that stuff, like blacksmithing and mining, to me is kind of, it's not obsolete. It's cool for like you, like for instance, like herbalism and alchemy. That's, to me, is like still a big thing because you need potions and everything like that. But when it comes to like blacksmithing and just stuff like engineering, no one really uses engineering, where back in the day they had cool stuff like defibrillators and things that could bring you back to life, just in case you weren't a healer or anything like that. Like me as a warrior, I had a 30% chance of reviving somebody, and if I could bring myself back to life and then waited a few minutes, I could reuse my defibrillator on, like, let's say the priest, and they could bring everybody back to life that died. You see what I mean? Kind of cool. I've had that experience a couple times, where now they don't offer that.
The situation for me is a little bit different because I have to use the auction house to buy potions and stuff for raiding. And just one of the things that I have to do as a raider. But I can think of, like, would you call yourself a casual gamer right now? Are you raiding?
I'm a casual gamer for sure. The most I've done is heroic dungeons. I haven't got to do any raids. I've wanted to. I go back to the Wrath of the Lich King or Burning Crusade, and I remember if you were going to raid, you needed to have a group that knew each other and everybody's skills and how good they were. Now, from hearing what you were saying, it doesn't sound like it's like that anymore. It's just a group of a whole bunch of randos.
You can go to Raid Finder.
See, that's crazy to me. It's cool though. I actually respect that, because that was one thing I hated back in Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King, was if you didn't have a guild or a group that did it, you were kind of out of luck. But it's cool. I do like it, actually.
I think, true, very true. I was thinking, like, I just feel bad for the casual gamers sometimes, because if there's a drought. If there's a content drought, it's like, hey, like, what do I do? It's, if you don't like farming for gold, it's like, do I go into a dungeon and just spam dungeons? Like, that gets boring,
It does get boring after a while.
And if you don't RP, it's kind of like, what am I here for? Like, what do I do? You kind of have to do stuff in the game. Like, you have to, like, find a community. And I think that goes to your first point about, like, what TVC is missing. No, what Shadowlands is missing from TVC, and that was the community. I think without a community, like, the game will be stale. You're just going to be a solo gamer, and that's why I took a big break after Warlords of Draenor. I took a big break. I took a 2.5-year break because I was playing solo.
Wow.
And there was just, there wasn't a community I could talk to. I wasn't in a guild. I was always expecting, like, someone would reach out to me and be like, hey, do you want to join this guild? Like, hey, we could use you. We could use a paladin.
Yeah, you don't get that at all.
You don't get that at all. You have to kind of find it yourself, right? And it feels solemn. It feels sad. I do wish World of Warcraft to have more things to do for the casual gamer, but, like, this end game stuff, maybe it does have to harp onto the community. Maybe it's not World of Warcraft. Well, what am I saying? Like, if there's something wrong with the community, and World of Warcraft implemented these group finder stuff, and people can't get to know each other or get to, like, talk to each other about forming this group, then what's the damn point? It is World of Warcraft's fault. It's Blizzard's fault.
I agree.
It's their fault. They came up with the group finder. They came up with this. There is no sense of community anymore. They had this community tab on World of Warcraft. I don't know if you know about this. If you explored it enough, I don't know if you did, but there is a community tab, a guild finder. If you look at it, there's, like, a community thing. I don't know if people actually use it.
Oh, where you can actually find a guild and you send a request if you can be in the guild, and then they can choose if they want to add you to the guild or not. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, because I've used that for one of my characters.
Yeah, I think on one of the tabs on the left side, there is community as well. So you can join a community while not actually being part of their guild. It's not actually a guild, but it's a community
Yes.
place, where you could be at. I was like, do people actually use that? Because, or if people were actually using it, then I wouldn't keep on hearing about like why the community is gone.
Agreed.
Why is there a lack of community?
Well, I know myself, being in the guild, because I've done it before. Yeah, there might be a community, but only like one or two people are talking back and forth, and that's it. Nobody in the guild actually talks to each other because they don't know each other, or they're just doing it to do it. Or there are guild perks. There were guild perks where if your guild gets to a certain level or whatever, you get certain perks, and I think that's the only reason why some people joined it in the first place.
Yeah, that was the perks. When did perks came out? Was that in Wrath or Cataclysm? I remember in Cataclysm, if you started a guild, then each person in the guild would incur like some gold. So for every person that was in your guild, you would gain some gold, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that.
That was Cataclysm. That was Cataclysm. It seems like Cataclysm was actually the start of the downfall.
Yeah, I agree, and that was with the guild thing too, and it
Yes.
was bad. People would abuse that. They would start their own guild, and their very own guild, and they would invite all these characters, and those characters would incur more gold for the guild bank. And then all of a sudden you would have all this gold, and then you would just trade it to one person or maybe your main character, and then you just have all this gold.
Yep.
It was pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Blizzard had to change that. That was
Gosh.
But what happened to the community, man?
It's not there anymore, man, and it's sad. It's really sad because when I first got back, when I got on there, I thought it changed because you hear it back and forth. Is it good? Is it dead? Is it back? Did they finally, do what they were supposed to? I'll say with Shadowlands, I love the story. I think it's fun for the casual gamer.
Good. I'm glad it's better for the casual gamer.
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun personally. I think it's a lot better than Battle for Azeroth. Like, I like Battle Azeroth, and I like the idea of it, and I loved going for like the little side race, whatever. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, but I mean, the community wasn't there. I never really saw anybody. No one talked to each other. It felt like for that to be a major city, that one major city there wasn't really that many people there. It wasn't like in Burning Crusade where you went to Shatra, and it was just like people everywhere, jumping, talking to everybody, just random interactions with people you normally wouldn't meet, just because that was the community. And same with the Wrath of the Lich King. They implemented the Death Knights, which I thought was going to kill the game because they started you off at level 55. And but the way they did it was it worked. It was for people that didn't want to grind, and start off or whatever. It was a fun little neat side class.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't really affect the story.
Good. Yeah, I really didn't like having to go to the Outlands on my Death Knight. I didn't like that because it didn't make sense to me in the story.
Yeah.
Hey, you're Death Knight, right? You just go to the Outlands. I didn't like that aspect, but that's just my gripe. That's just my gripe. It would have been better if maybe we started at level 65.
Oh yeah. I see that. Yeah.
Maybe. Oh, but I like that though. I would have liked that better because I think it would have been more fair because, at the start of Wrath, like, you're level 70 and you got to go to 80. So the Death Knights would start at level 65.
Yeah.
Just go to 80. Or, yeah, just go to 80. But that was my only gripe. But I think it was Cataclysm. Yeah, Cataclysm with the start of that downfall. And I lost my train of thought for a minute. But I loved Shadowlands for the story as well. I agree with you there. I think Shadowlands has a lot of ups, and what you were talking about with Battle for Azeroth, it was just there was such a content drought that it brought me back to the days of when I quit Warlord to Draenor, and then I missed the beginning of Legion, all that time, and I just remembered like, oh man, I think this is the reason why I left.
Agreed.
This is the content drought. Like this is the content drought that you were talking about, and it's so familiar. I didn't like Battle for Azeroth as much as I wanted to. I liked some aspects. I liked it for the experience because I finally got back into raiding. with a good guild, but like
Mhm.
it's I remember what I was going to talk about, because we were going back to the part about the community, and even in retail WoW now, like unless you're in a very good guild, you know, and you like the people that you're with, and you actually care about wanting to, you know, talk to them and get to know them, and you know, like even the like slash waving to them or slash hugging, you know, their character, you know, that's
Yeah,
if you don't
yeah,
have that, it can be very lonely. It can be very
absolutely,
lonely.
absolutely.
You know, for example, like even I don't get too optimistic about like, you know, meeting new people in
Hmm.
the game, because I'm afraid that, you know, people are going to like forget about you. You know, you add their battle tag,
Hmm.
you add their battle tag, but they don't, maybe they don't respond to you. You know, maybe they got all these things that they want to do. You know, it's like, hey, it's just
Yeah.
retail WoW. It's like I don't get on here every day. I'm going to play another game or something like that.
Or it's
That's why,
mad awkward. That's for sure for
yeah,
them.
yeah. So you know, I kind of stay away from that sometimes.
I get that.
You know, and it happened to me recently. You know, now I wasn't too emotionally invested, you know, in this guy, you know, but I just wanted his help. So I talked to one of the main red paladins in our guild, who was, you know, he was parsing a lot better than me in raids, and I wanted to know what he was doing, because you know, videos about your character can only show you so much unless, you know, you're in an you're actually in the raid in a scenario where, you know, should I AoE or should I do single target,
Right.
you know. So I wanted to ask this red paladin what he was doing so I could learn from him, you know.
Did he
Which
ever
is
get
another,
back to you on that, or did
I'll
you ever ask him?
I'll get to that in a minute, but I
Okay.
just wanted to say, as a piece of advice to anybody, like if you're having questions about, you know, your character in game, you know, you should join the class Discord from Wowhead. You know, I think that's a good one, but also you should talk to someone in the realm. Like find the best character in the game. You know, send him a whisper, send him an email. Like, be polite, tell him like, hey, like I'm so and so. I see that you're doing really good in this game. I see like you're in this top guild, and I want to congratulate you for your achievements. Might if I you know, gain some, you know, get some advice, you know, about my class. What am I doing wrong? Like, can we talk? Thanks, I really appreciate your time. Like, just be, if you be polite, then maybe he'll get, you know, maybe they'll get back to you. But I think that's a great way to learn more about your class. But in this guy's scenario, like he told me twice, like he would get to we would get together and help you, and he would help me. Uh, the first time he didn't help me, but I didn't get back to him because I was like, I already told him like, hey, are we going to get together? Hey, we're going to get together.
Yeah, you don't want to be pushy or nothing.
No, I'm not going to push him. You know, I've learned what that happens.
Yeah, yeah.
I learned when I do that. I learned what's going to happen if you push.
Yeah.
Earlier, way earlier in my life. So the second time he actually like got back to me, I had to get together with him. Like, I had to reach out to him when he quit the guild, like 6 days later. So
Wow.
6 days after I initially talked to him, like, hey, can you help me? And he said like, yeah. And then he quit. Then 6 days later, he quit the guild, and I got together with him like, hey, I didn't hear anything. Is everything? I hope you're all right. I think that's all I just said. Maybe what did I say? I think I could pull up the Discord right now.
You scared him off, man.
I don't know how. I don't know why he left. I still don't know why he left. I don't know if
Friendship?
I really care.
No, I can't do that. Friendship? No. This is retail.
Friendship,
Wow, what
no.
are you doing?
Yeah, I don't need new friends. Hey man, I don't know why you left, but I hope everything's okay. I think I wanted to get to know him because I think I just wanted to see if, genuinely, I think I just wanted to see if he was okay, you know.
I get that.
But then he finally said like, hey, let's do some reviewing tonight for your rotation. And he said he was good, thanks for reaching out. And I told him, yeah, I'm available tonight, thanks. And then he never got back to me, and I asked him, you know, when the time came, like, you available now? And he just didn't get back with me.
Not intentionally, I think to him, he probably has too much going on and he doesn't feel like dealing with it, or it's just awkward for him to talk with somebody, or you're a rival, you know.
I don't know if I'm a rival. Like I think he's doing something better than me, right?
Hmm.
This is my competitive side coming out. And it's like, yeah, he's doing better than me. You know, like he's finding out all these scenarios. There's times when I did beat him,
Hmm.
but like it, but they were time, but I wasn't bragging or anything. It was just like I was parsing better, and I understood the fight a little bit better, and I understood that if I pull out these talents, I think it would be better if I used it on this boss.
Right.
But I don't. I think he comes off as a little like competitive, maybe too competitive. He comes off
Oh,
as
okay.
he comes off as a he has this aura of competitiveness. Is that a word? He's very competitive.
No, no,
So
no.
he
He's
has that
he's probably a
aura around
sports
him.
guy. He might be a sports guy because I know a lot of sports people. They're competitive, you know, to the point to where why should I share my secret with you so you can try to outdo me? That is not going to happen, sir.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess yeah. That's probably it. You know, and to me, like, if I'm being completely honest with you, and you probably know this already, but I'm not very competitive. I don't like to be too competitive.
You just
I
want to do
like
your best. I know that.
what did I talked to I'd said this to myself. I don't know if I told this to anybody yet, but as a red paladin and as a paladin class, like I just want to do very I just want to be very good at what I do. I just want to be a very good paladin.
I get
You know,
that.
if I'm not rank 1 on the server, if I'm not rank 1 in the world, I just want to be among the best. And that's what I strive for. But like to wrap this up in a ribbon, it's like you're right. There is people like they just like want to do their own thing, and it's easy for them to let go because it's like probably not going to see him again anyway. This is retail. You know, I
Right.
could change servers very quickly if I want to. No one will care. Whereas in the old days, you know, if you're on, unless you're now correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think it's very easy to change servers in vanilla WoW or even in TBC.
It wasn't originally. I don't know if it is now, but I know originally not. That wasn't even a thing. I don't even think that came out until Burning Crusade.
I think yeah, I heard stories. I heard stories back in the day where you know if the group leader if the what would happen if you're in a dungeon and a certain item dropped off a boss or a mob, and the group leader said, "Hey, don't need it, just greet it." Right?
Yes.
And then you're the guy that needs it,
Oh
and he's
man.
like, "Hey, what the hell, dude?"
Yep.
Because
Oh
you
my
can trade.
gosh.
You can't trade back in the day. I remember that too. You can't trade it back
Yep.
in the day. So if you need it and you get it, you can't trade it to anybody
Yep. It's
unless you
true.
just unless you try to make it feel better and destroy it. But like there was a thing called blacklisting, and I
Hmm.
didn't know about this. I didn't know about this. I didn't know that people would be like, "Hey, they can go to trade chat and be like, "Hey, don't invite this guy. He stole this
Wow.
item." Like blacklist him, and that was actually a thing.
I didn't know that either. That's crazy.
But in retail, like who cares? Like if you ninja an item, like who cares? Man? No one cares. Like you could tell somebody like, "Hey, don't invite this group. Don't invite this guy," and they're like, "So who cares?"
I personally
Like
think the new way they've got going on with the dungeons, where you know everybody it's just kind of random as it is, and if you want to trade it to someone that needs it, you can. I kind of like that system a little bit better than the need or the greed, personally.
I do like that better. Yeah, I do like that better as well.
Makes it a little
Um,
bit more fair, and you get rid of that whole "Hey, why did you need that?" You know.
and they did something with that. When did that change? I think it was Warlords of Draenor. I
Hmm.
think where they got rid of Master Loot, and they did it.
Okay.
They came up with personal loot. Now I don't know if you can go back to Master Loot.
Hmm.
I don't remember. I don't remember. But my guild uses personal loot. So if a boss dies, and you loot the boss and you get the item, that item's only for you. Like no one else sees the item that you get.
Interesting.
So if the item drops to you, hey, you got it.
I
If
kind
it
of like that
eliminates,
too. Yeah, exactly. I think that's the best way to go. Actually, just leave it how it is.
right?
Nobody needs to
Yeah.
know. You don't need to get hate messages. You didn't deserve that.
Oh, I wanted to say this one thing, like because I don't know if I made people sad about this guy just just leaving me out in the dust. But I did learn later about what the raids did and the boss and how I should go about DPSing the boss. I did get better at that. because I looked at more videos pretty much.
Yeah.
And I did more research on my own class. And I guess there could be an argument about like, hey, like, do I really have to research all this stuff myself? Like, why can't I just, ask people for help and they would help? Like, but it doesn't always happen like that. Sometimes it's just better to do your own research, I guess.
That's true. That's why I kind of miss the real relationship with guilds, because you could ask your guild and they would actually set up training regiments for like newbies and people that wanted to get better at their class. Yeah, whenever I was in it, they would literally have a set like group that all they did was they would either power level you, teach you how to use your class, let's say for me, like a warrior, and I wanted to be a tank. That was the first thing my original guild, which you remember, Shattered Dreams, they tried to train me to be a tank because I did not know how to be a tank. And that's when I found out also I didn't want to be a tank because that's too much responsibility. Back in the day, it was a lot harder to be a tank than it is now, I feel like. But that was one of the things that I felt was kind of like cool with Vanilla WoW, is they actually cared about the people that were in the guild, and they would set up, training methods, and if they couldn't figure out, they would send you to sites, they would find people in general and just have you talk to them. They would actually set up the meetings. The leaders did this. And so I had a really good experience whenever I was with my guild back in, 2004 all the way to 2007. That was Vanilla WoW all the way up to Burning Crusade.
Awesome.
Awesome. It was great.
That brings about like, that's so cool. There were so many helpful people back in the day. Like that's if it was me back in the day, if some person came to me and said like, hey, I'm the guild master of this guild. Like, hey, I see you're very good at this class. Can you teach some newbies? Like, just
yes.
talk to them for a little
Yep.
bit? I'd be like, yeah. I'd be like, sure. I ain't doing anything around this time. Like, tell them to call me at this time, and I'll talk.
Yep. And they would arrange that. Yep. It was fun too. And he used to arrange like party meetings. For instance, like he would have you take him through like a lower class dungeon that you all could do together, and you guys would party together and talk, and you all would go through the dungeon together, and he would teach you how to use your skills and how to be the best at whatever you were. It was really cool.
Dude, that brings a big smile on my face. Like,
oh man, it was a fun time. It was a really good time. That's what I expected to come back to because of so many different expansion. I thought eventually they went back to that. No, it's not bad. Don't get me wrong. It's still a fun game, but it's not the game I remember.
Yeah, it's more of a solo game now.
It is.
Pretty much.
It is.
Unless you want to raid, unless you want to do mythic keys.
Mm-hmm.
Mythic plus keys,
which is fun. It is fun. Don't get me wrong.
It is fun. And we talk about this a lot because we love the game. We love World of Warcraft. It brings back so many good memories. We only want the best for the game.
Yep.
We're not in charge of making changes to the game. We just love the game, and we want to see improvements. We want more people to play the game. We want
Agreed.
Agreed. Awesome people to play the game.
I don't know how you feel. I'm going to actually get to that question because I think I've only got time for a couple more questions for you, but I'm curious to know what you say. Do you think retail WoW can actually stay relevant the way it's going? Like, do you give it? Can you see it in the next, let's say, 6 years staying relevant, having a consistent player basis, or do you think Vanilla WoW will eventually, the new one that they had come back out, do you think that's going to overtake it? Since you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think World of Warcraft can still stay relevant. Yeah, as long as Blizzard listens to their players, right? We got a lot of great stuff from Shadowlands, all because of our feedback from Battle for Azeroth. So as long as Blizzard makes changes that appeals to us, the consumer, I think mainly World of Warcraft can still stay relevant. I think Kevin Jordan said it. He said it best about like classic WoW, like when it came to classic WoW and what Blizzard did with it, what these changes or anything. He said that the biggest thing was just getting it out for people to play.
Agreed.
2019 when it came out, classic WoW, like people were playing it, like it was.
And I was surprised by it when I heard it. I was like, why would anybody want to go back to classic WoW when they've got all these other different expansion passes? But when I went into it, I see it now.
Retail.
Yeah.
Pushed them out. Retail pushed them out.
Yep.
And yep, and I think that's how World of Warcraft will stay relevant. Absolutely.
Let me ask you
Long
this:
relevant.
how do you feel that World of Warcraft has changed you as a gamer, like from when you first played it to now? Because I know for me, when I go back to when I originally played it back in 2004, all the way to, let's say, 2000. Well, I'm going to go all the way to 2008 because, Wrath of the Lich King was great to me as well. I had that sense of belonging. The world was massive. It was probably the biggest game that I've ever played. You know what I mean? This changed video games for me, because any other game that came close to that was Final Fantasy, and even most of those weren't, open world where you can explore everywhere. I mean, we had multiple continents where we could explore, and back in the day, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And when I came back to the game, as of recent, it just doesn't have that same impact. It feels like the world's a lot smaller, and even though the world is bigger, like it's got other continents and bigger continents and portals that go there, you don't really see yourself going back to explore those continents. You just kind of stay in what's relevant, what's the new expansion at the time. And that's kind of sad, because I feel like back in Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King, you were still going back to Vanilla WoW. You were still going back to Wrath of the Lich King. You were still going to the Outlands and the Burning Crusade and hanging out with people. And the community was there for you, where, as with the other ones, it's kind of like, it is what it is. Yeah. So I'm just asking you, how do you feel? How has it changed you as a gamer? Do you feel like playing WoW has changed how you see other video games on the consoles, like the PlayStation or the Nintendo or anything?
That's a tricky question, because I think it's the type of game that makes it different, because World of Warcraft is an MMORPG,
mm-hmm.
and I don't play a whole lot of MMORPGs. I think I've grown as a gamer, as in like getting better, getting more competent.
Yeah.
As a gamer, and seeing more puzzles, and I think that's the beauty of gaming itself, is because gaming teaches you. Now, WoW takes this a step further, but anyway, what I'm trying to say is, like, gaming teaches you, like, just it makes you better puzzle game. You have better hand-eye coordination.
Sure.
Stuff like that. But MMO, like World of Warcraft, takes it a step further, where you play with other people, and then sometimes you have to play with those people all the time if you want to get your objectives done, especially group quests and dungeons and raids and PvP, if you want to group together for PvP and knock it out and dominate. For me, it's done all those things. It's made me better as a gamer. It made me better at talking to people about using multiple software on the computer.
Yeah.
And that's why now I'm in a master's course where I can do computer work. Now, it's not gaming stuff, but I do love the mental challenge of getting stuff done on a computer, and I think
awesome.
It's more better for you in the future as well.
Right. That's awesome.
Because I don't think we're in our late 20s, and maybe if teenagers or preteens or young adults who are in their young 20s right now, I think if they're listening to this, they should think. They're probably not thinking about the future 30 years from now, but I think if we're a gamer right now, we care about games. We want to play what we're good at. We want to get better at it.
Yep.
But I think it'll be good for our mental health in the future.
So I agree.
I think it's changed me for that, and I think it's why I'll play video games until I die.
Yeah, same here. I mean, it was kind of, we came up in the 90s, so I mean, video games technically was our life, and it was never meant for kids. I mean, like, you have games for kids, but I mean, it was always meant to grow with us as adults.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. We talked about the MMORPG. Do you think you can see games such as, like, let's say Pokemon, for instance, do you think that will ever grow into an actual MMORPG?
That's an interesting idea. I think that's interesting, because I think they have to do something where people have to be interested in it.
I mean, I know I am. I know I love the idea of it.
Okay, because I'm hearing this idea for the first time, so I'm still trying to process it. Like, you're very excited for it. Me, right now, I'm not very excited for it. I think that it depends on the system, right? I think It depends on how you play the game. How the game is played. for instance, like I heard this example somewhere where it said, where they said, I'm paraphrasing, people who play a game, right, for the story, but they don't pay attention to the gameplay, I think that they won't care much about the gameplay or won't play it again because they would have listened to the story. You know,
That's true.
They would already play the story, so why would they go back to the game for the gameplay? Because,
right.
Like, what you press A to win. It's like, I don't want to play this game again.
That's true.
If you play a game like God of War, for example, where you have a frost axe, and then you get more items in the game, and then you get to try all those items out. And then you have these abilities, and then you have these stat changes, and then you have these runes that you can choose from. Like, that's what makes the game fun. Like, you get to change all these runes. You get to change the gameplay pretty much. Like, that's awesome.
It is.
Like, it's not press A to win. So, I think for a Pokemon game, like, I keep on thinking to myself, like, how are we going to play like how we usually played on the 3DS or the Game Boy Color, where it was like you find a trainer, and then you get to the screen where you throw your Pokemon out, and then you got to choose like 4 moves. You choose 4 moves to use against your opponent. Like, it's going to be, I don't know what they're going to do with that. Like, is it going to be the same way, or are we going to get something different, or are they going to make it to a way where Pikachu comes out and you're facing off against a Raichu, and then Raichu wants to use Thunder on you, and then you're like, hey, like you actually have to move away from this Thunder, so you can use a Thunderbolt. But then Raichu can dodge it because the player can tell their Raichu to be like, hey, dodge, and then you're moving Raichu to move out of the way. So Raichu can use Thunder again.
Well, I wouldn't be so surprised if they made it to where they throw out a Pokemon, and then you actually take over the actions of the Pokemon yourself. Kind of like, you ever played Pokemon Coliseum? But to a fact of that, and that's what you're essentially doing. Now, I don't know how interactions with the trainer versus that, but I think it would go to that point to where you're actually fighting with your Pokemon, and it's all about, of course, your moveset and your skills and how you're fighting and everything like that. But essentially, I think that's how it would go. And then whenever you go out of the game, it's like, yeah, you're level so-and-so, congrats, you know.
Yeah. So for an MMO, I would have to look at the gameplay. So I'm hesitant. I'm hesitant to give my full opinion. I would like to hear more details about this MMO. But me personally, I always dreamed of a Pokemon game where we can, maybe if it was on the Switch, and this is what I was always hoping for, where we would travel to all the different regions.
Oh, that'd be amazing. And I think you could do that with that. If you do an MMO, I think you could do that. You could start off with the main region, and then just, involve different expansions, for instance, and keep opening them up, and you can go back and forth between all the different expansions, going between continents or however they want to do it, of course. Ride a boat, I don't know, you could even ride your Lapras across the sea and try to catch more Pokemon, because your whole goal is to catch all the different Pokemon. That sounds like fun, on top of hanging out with other real trainers. Create your own trainer, what they look like, you can battle them if you want to, just like PvP and everything like that. You could have the Battle Coliseum as the PvP area. It sounds like fun.
Yeah, they could do it like, I'll do the sea ride thing like they did with the Wind Waker.
Yes,
You get on your boat and you start sailing, and then you see the island behind you just like turn into black.
Yes,
farther away.
They could throw some extra islands in there, like the Orange Islands and stuff like that, where you have to actually just run into them by accident, and when you find it, it's like, oh my goodness, this is pretty cool.
Or do something like WoW, where you have a Hearthstone.
Yes.
And then you could choose an inn, and like I would go to the Hoenn region.
Yes.
And then I would just go to a city, and I would just like set my Hearthstone there and just be like, all right, cool, this is my home, but I'm going to Johto right now, or I'm going to Sinnoh right now, or I'm going to Unova right now.
That would be so much fun. And just try to sit there and try to catch Pokemon, have gym leaders. You might even have it to where you could actually set it to where, I don't know how it would actually set up, but you could have it to where you can actually battle to be a gym leader. You know what I mean? Or even have it as a setting where that's what you want to be. You want to be a gym leader. instead of like just a trainer. Or maybe you could have breeders. You know what I mean? You could go, I mean, I think a lot of people would become trainers because, you know, you want to be a master. But I mean, you could have all these different classes.
Yeah, I can see some people want to be breeders.
Yeah. I see a lot of people doing it.
I want this super awesome Pokemon, and if people want this awesome Pokemon that has perfect IVs, or something like that, and then you can sell it to them or something like that. I don't know about that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Never, maybe not that, but like, you know, like trade. You know.
Well,
trade,
if nothing else, you could have to where like you can actually farm, like you can make it like a skill where you can make these like special, you know, like you said, the like the proteins or the irons and stuff like that, and you can actually make those yourself. I don't know what that would be called, and then sell it on like an auction house, so you can actually level your, you know, whatever. Same with like thunderstones and stuff like that. You can actually mine thunderstones and water stones and electric stones, you know, stuff like that, and sell it for money. You know, have different things. It sounds like fun to me.
Yeah. That's what about another idea, like you know how Pokemon can follow you in Gen 4?
Yes.
And then Gen 6, I think. Pokemon follow you? I don't remember in Gen 6 and in the Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I don't remember.
I know for sure they do in was it is that Pokemon Go? Yeah, Let's Go.
Pokemon Go. Yeah, they'll follow you.
Yeah, in the DS version, the Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Yeah.
They can follow you as well. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, and the Snorlax, you jump on his belly and he'll run. Yeah.
And the Onyx, it's like a giant Onyx, and you can like, it's awesome.
So what if in this Pokemon MMO, like you get to breed all this Pokemon, and then what if like I love Larvitar. It's one of my favorite Pokemon. So you breed all these Larvitar, and then you keep them in a pen out back, and they'll just like play around, and you can like see them.
That'd be that would be so cool.
And you could tell them to follow each other, like in a train, and laugh or something like that. That'd be cool.
That'd be a lot of fun, and it would be a good way of like interacting with all your different Pokemon. Or even if like you want it to be like, let's say, a professor, that could be one of your goals, is to get your own lab where you can have your own like giant facility, like almost like a giant greenhouse, where all your Pokemon could go out there, and every day you could go out there and examine all the Pokemon and take research notes on different things that they're doing and everything like that. I don't know if they would go that extreme with it, because that sounds like a lot of work, but it sounds like a lot of fun.
I think that's what MMOs are, man. A lot of work.
They are a lot of work.
Oh my gosh, dude! I remember like in WoW and TVC where you're running a lot, and you're just running and
constantly
slow and
you could literally hit numlock, have your character just running, and you could go get some food, come back, and you're like, oh man, I'm still going.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Good times.
Yeah, man, those are great times.
Yeah, I think that's about it. My fiance, she has to take a shower here. She has work in the morning, but I really enjoy talking to you and touching base on all this cool stuff, man. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy work schedule, not to mention your school schedule, because you're going for that master's. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Yo, Bronze, where can people follow you? Where can people find you?
You can hit me up on YouTube, Bronze Wolf Alchemist, or you can go on Twitter. I have a Twitter. It's Bronze Wolf Alchemist. You can even look me up on Instagram. You can look me up on Facebook. I actually have a page there, and I post all my videos and all my content on there and everything like that. You know, if you guys want to send me a shout out, if you guys want to hit a like, I definitely appreciate it. If you guys want to subscribe to the channel because you like stuff like this, I plan to do more videos like this with guest star Saeth, if you don't mind, in the future. Just definitely give me a like and subscribe, and hopefully we can get more videos out.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, this is really fun, and this has actually been an idea of mine as well. Like, just do what you do. Like, start maybe not doing a podcast, but definitely like stream.
Yeah, that's kind of, and that's the game plan for this. I couldn't really figure out what I wanted to do, and I always felt like having somebody on here with me kind of helps, kind of guide me to where I want to go to. So I felt like this was.
Let me know. I'll definitely come.
Awesome, dude. I really appreciate it. Until next time, man.
Yeah, guys. Yeah, thanks for having me.
See you guys.
It's great being here. Later.